here goes my PowerPoint right there. Let's get started. All right, how many of you guys eat meat? I am here to tell you that you guys are in danger. Wait, let me backtrack. If you eat meat on a regular basis, you are in danger as well as the environment. The consumption of meat can have negative consequences on the environment and human health, not to mention the amount of cruelty these animals endure. Having been a vegetarian for about 2 years now, I can testify that ever since I stopped eating meat, I feel better as a person and feel much healthier. At the beginning of my journey, I found myself having more energy and I also shed a couple pounds. In this speech, I will present information about the dangers and harms that meat production has on the environment and on animals. I will also be presenting information about the diseases and risks eating meat poses on the body. Now I will begin discussing the harms that surround the meat production industry and their consumers. There has been plenty of studies and research done that show that the production of meat is damaging the environment and causing an increase of chances of a human developing certain diseases. We cannot forget the primary victim, the animals. If individuals were to start consuming less meat, we would see the environment slowly get better as well as their health. According to a 2009 United Nations report, the meat industry produces more greenhouse gases than all SUVs, cars, trucks, ships, planes in the world combined. An article titled "Meat Consumption Per Capita" adds that this means that all those people that believe they are helping the environment by driving a hybrid or recycling actually cause more problems for the environment by just eating meat than those people who drive gas-guzzling cars. This comparison speaks volume. It puts the harm we are causing to the environment in perspective. Going meatless would significantly reduce the harm done to the environment on a regular basis. According to a 2016 Los Angeles Times article, a vegetarian diet requires 2.9 times less water, 2.3 times less primary energy, 13 times less fertilizer, and 1.4 times fewer pesticides than a non-vegetarian diet. With this information, you can understand that a meatless diet reduces the demand for raised livestock, which happens to put major stress on ecosystems and our planet as a whole. In a research done by Duke Medical School in 2017, it was found that meat production is one of the most important ways in which humanity affects the environment because we cut down forests to create pasture as well as the land for the animal feed. It was also found that livestock production is a major source of greenhouse gases among other pollutants. In some areas, it makes major demands on scarce water resources and can heighten soil erosion. Eating meat contributes to the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere among other pollutants. It also contributes to the major stress put on the environment on a regular basis. The treatment of these innocent animals, is inhumane and is just downright wrong. Most of these animals do not get to feel the sun on their skin until they are shipped on their way to the slaughterhouses. Every year, tens of billions of animals are killed for food, and most endure lives of constant fear and torment. Nearly all of these animals raised for food in America today are separated from their families and crammed by the thousands into filthy warehouses where they spend their entire lives living in filthy conditions. When it is time for these animals to end, when it's time for the lives of these animals to end, many animals are still conscious and are struggling to escape while their throats are cut. And some are still conscious while their bodies are hacked apart or when they're dumped into tanks of scorching hot water. Animals can feel pain just like humans can. And just like us, they value their lives and do not want to suffer. Now you may be wondering, okay, but what does consuming meat have to do with me? How does it affect my health? Well, it has been proven that the consumption of meat increases your chance for diseases such as diabetes and cancer. According to the 2015 Korea Times article, higher intake of red meat and poultry is associated with significantly increased risk of developing diabetes. That being said, not eating meat can reduce the risk of diabetes, especially if it's hereditary. This is not saying it will completely cut the disease out of your life, but it will rather reduce it significantly. Eating too much meat, especially too much processed meat like bacon and ham, can increase your chances for catching certain types of cancers such as colon cancer and esophageal cancer. These are very complex issues that seem to be difficult to fix, but there is one clear solution. What can we do to help the environment and also protect our health? The answer is simple. You either reduce the consumption of meat or stop consuming meat entirely. This simple action can make a drastic difference. Not only would it make the environment we live in better, but it would also significantly reduce your chances of getting certain types of diseases. As for the animals, they would be able to live out their lives without the worries of being on somebody's plate for dinner. Many individuals may argue that meat contains certain kinds of nutrients that cannot be found or replaced by vegetables or any other food for that matter. But that is a very short-sighted view because an individual can eat plenty of plant-based foods that have the same nutritional value, if not more. Eating meat has been a part of our diet from the beginning of time. What would happen if we stopped consuming it entirely, you might ask? If every single individual were to go on a meatless diet, the environment would flourish. Certain kinds of foods such as grains and beans would decrease, therefore providing families with low income to be able to afford those kinds of foods. The health of individuals would better and the risk of certain diseases would reduce drastically. The reduced consumption of meat would reduce premature deaths according to the National Geographic. We would see global mortality reduction of 6 to 10%. Along with the prolonged life of humans also comes a prolonged life of animals and the end of the constant cycle of suffering that they have endured for years on end. Greenhouse gas emissions would drop by a third. Agriculture contributes more to climate change than industrial emissions. Former ranchland would be converted to grassland and forests which would capture carbon and further mitigate climate change. The addiction we as humans have to meat has negatively impacted our planet as well as our bodies, and it has to be stopped. In conclusion, I hope that I have opened your eyes to the harm meat consumption has on not only the human body, but the environment and the poor innocent animals as well. And I hope that I have motivated you to take some type of action. You don't have to cut off meat completely, although it would be best. All you have to do is reduce the amount of meat you consume. Little by little, we can help restore the damage already done. Next time you have a hot sizzling piece of meat in front of you, I want you to think about how it got there and what animal it hurt. Thank you guys for listening to my speech. All right, here goes the thing.